Special Operations Forces fighters of the Ukrainian Armed Forces in the temporarily occupied Crimea have disabled a number of Russian logistics facilities. We continue to destroy the occupiers' logistics in the temporarily occupied Crimea. The Special Operations Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine carried out special operations in the temporarily occupied Autonomous Republic of Crimea, as a result of which logistics facilities were disabled, the Special Operations Forces noted. It is reported that the destroyed and damaged infrastructure facilities ensured the functioning and combat supply of military units of the Russian army. Let us recall that this morning, August 26, explosions thundered in occupied Crimea. The Urozhaynaya railway station in the village of Krasnogvardeyskoye could have been under attack. The landing in the area of the Urozhaynaya station, judging by everything, was accurate, added Krymsky Veter. In addition, on the night of August 21, the Special Operations Forces successfully destroyed the occupiers' rolling stock with fuel and lubricants near Urozhaynaya. The special operation disrupted the occupiers' logistics in the temporarily occupied Crimea. In addition, in July, explosions thundered in occupied Crimea amid a massive drone attack. After that, a photo of an attack drone appeared online, which allegedly flew towards the Belbek airfield. Russia's defense ministry claimed its forces intercepted 8 Ukrainian drones over Crimea, disclosing no information about possible damage. On the night of August 25 to 26, Russian air defense systems intercepted and destroyed 43 Ukrainian drones across various regions of Russia. Air defense units intercepted and destroyed 43 Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles, 6 UAVs were downed over the Leningrad, Ryazan, and Tula regions, 5 over the Volgograd region, 4 over the Bryansk region, 3 each over the Oryol and Pskov regions, 2 each over the Belgorod and Kursk regions, and 1 each over the Voronezh, Kaluga, Lipetsk, Novgorod, Nizhny Novgorod, and Rostov regions, the ministry said in a statement. In a previous such incident, Russia's defense ministry claimed to have intercepted at least 21 Ukrainian drones across Smolensk, Bryansk, Oryol, Kaluga, Tver and Moscow regions. Ukrainian troops have liberated Novomykhailivka village in eastern Donetsk region, local telegram channel reported on Sunday. Russians lost about a company of military personnel and were forced to transfer reserves from other parts of the front as a result of the operation, according to Telegram reports. Ukrainian defense forces shared footage of how they regained control over the village in Limansky district in Donetsk. The successful offensive operation was carried out jointly by the forces of the Active Operations Department of the Main Intelligence Directorate of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, HUR, in particular the Arton Unit, and the 3rd Assault Brigade. Ukrainian troops carried out a cleanup in Novomykhailivka, drove out the Russian army and restored control over the village. The news about liberation of Novomykhailivka village follows the Russian Defense Ministry's statement on Saturday about Russian army's capture of Sredny and Klebenbyk villages in Donetsk region. Donetsk was illegally annexed by Russia in September 2022 and has been the major venue of hostilities in Russia's war of invasion in Ukraine.
As reported on August the 11th, Russian troops broke through Ukrainian defenses in the Donetsk region and advanced at least 6 miles into the territory. It was one of the deepest incursions in recent months, raising concerns about a possible advance on the strategic towns of Konstantinovka and Pokrovsk. However, the Ukrainian army foiled the enemy's plan, writes the Telegraph. On August the 12th, the Azov Corps launched a counter-attack, which the General Staff called active measures. Within days of the offensive, Russian soldiers found themselves surrounded by the Azov Corps, one of Ukraine's elite units. The incursion one of the deepest since the transition to a war of attrition, quickly turned into a costly and deadly failure, the newspaper writes. By August the 14th, the situation had stabilized and the captured villages had been liberated. Particularly dangerous was Moscow's intention to establish control over the Dobropolye-Kramatorsk highway, a key artery for supplying Ukrainian troops in the east. However, thanks to the rapid response of the Azov unit, this strategic road remained under Kiev's control. Former British Marine Sean Pinner, who served with Azov, called the Russians' tactics suicide missions. There is not a single section of the front line that is not visible on the TV screen, he said, describing surveillance along the front line. He added, "It is an almost impenetrable iron curtain of drones." Despite the fact that the fighting is getting closer to Dobropolye, Ukrainian soldiers are sure that the situation is under control. In Pokrovsk, it is actually becoming calmer, one of the soldiers noted. Earlier, analysts from the Institute for the Study of War reported that the defense forces had made progress in the Pokrovsk direction. Ukrainian fighters probably cleared several settlements near Dobropolye and drove the Russians out of the Veseloye and Gruskoye areas. The liberation of Urozhaynaya, Novovodanoye, Petrovka, and Zolotoy Kolodez has also been confirmed. The Ukrainian Defense Forces have managed to dislodge the occupiers in several areas of the front, according to a new report by the Institute for the Study of War. It is noted that on August the 15th to the 16th, the Russians attacked near Novokonstantinovka, Varachino, and Yunakovka. However, the enemy failed to achieve significant success in the north of the Sumy region. Also, the occupiers' attempts to attack and advance have been unsuccessful in the Kharkiv region. Analysts shared that in this region, the Russians are trying to attack with small infantry groups, sometimes using motorcycles for quick movement. Their actions appear chaotic, and no advances have been recorded. In addition, the enemy tried to advance in the Kupiansk and Limansk directions. Analysts have refuted the statements of Russian war correspondents about the alleged successes of the occupiers. Nevertheless, the enemy's advance in the Seversky direction was confirmed. The occupiers' attack near Chasavoy Yar and Toretsk ended in failure. In the Pokrovsk direction, the defense forces had successes. Ukrainian fighters probably cleared several settlements near Dobropolye and drove the Russians out of the Veseloye and Gruskoye areas. The liberation of Urozhaynaya, Novovodanoye, Petrovka, and Zolotoy Kolodez has also been confirmed. In the Velikomy-Kailovsk direction, Ukrainian troops pushed the enemy back from the Andriivka-Klevtsovo area. At this time, the Russians tried to advance in the Novopavlovsk direction, but to no avail. The occupiers also carried out attacks near Gulaipol in the Zaporizhia region and in the direction of Kherson near the Antonovsky bridges and Belogrudy Island. Attempts to advance ended in failure for the Russians. Subsequently, Commander-in-Chief Alexander Syrsky confirmed that 6 settlements in the Pokrovsky direction had been cleared of Russian occupiers.